Good afternoon. My name is Paul Cowley, President and CEO of First Vanadium Corp., formerly Cornerstone Metals Inc. First Vanadium has the largest, richest primary vanadium deposit in all of North America. But to first start, for those that are unfamiliar with vanadium, just briefly, vanadium is a critical and strategic metal that's used primarily in the steel manufacturing business to strengthen steel. So it's used in rebar, pipelines, car chassis, and the likes. But vanadium is also a key battery metal for storing large amounts of electricity. So these are industrial grade batteries that are being deployed in power companies' grids to ensure and have more an effective use of their flow of electricity. Vanadium prices have really taken a leap from in the last 2.5 years, moving from a typical level of $3 a pound to over $23 a pound. And this is reflecting the very, very high demand for this metal and the short supply. And these fundamentals of supply and demand imbalances are expected to continue for the short and intermediate scale. So we're expecting a robust vanadium metal price to stay buoyant for years to come. Furthermore, the U.S. does not have any supplier or producer of vanadium. So they're completely vulnerable to countries such as China and Russia and South Africa for their supply of vanadium. And this has made the U.S. government very, very uncomfortable. And so it's prompted the government to initiate legislation to streamline permitting for projects of critical and strategic metals such as vanadium and such as ours. So we've got the enviable position of advancing this great project at a time of robust metal prices and geopolitical environment, with it being a large, high-grade deposit, this is coupled with those advantages, coupled with some very, very significant location and infrastructural advantages. So we're located in north central Nevada, which is one of the best mining jurisdictions in the world. We're halfway between Reno and Salt Lake City along I-80, and we're actually only 6 miles south of I-80 by road from the town of Carlin, which hosts a major rail hub that services both east and west coast. And there's competing rail companies that also service that area. There's power, high-tension power lines within 5 miles of the project, another great advantage. And the nearby communities of Elko and Carlin are mining communities. So this means skilled labor force, technical professionals, service vendors and service companies that serve the mining community and mining industry for both exploration and production. So this is an outstanding kind of infrastructure that we're nestled in the midst of. We add some of the really significant technical aspects of this project. This was actually a deposit that was discovered in the mid-1960s by Union Carbide, who very systematically drilled this off because they saw the potential of this becoming a producing mine. However, the metal price in those days, as well as the metallurgical technologies of those days, didn't allow that to be an opportunity for them, so they abandoned it. They were only able to get 60% or 50% recoveries of their vanadium, so that wasn't, and vanadium prices were about 75 cents a pound. That's all changed now, of course, what we have here. So this is a systematically drilled deposit. It's a large deposit. It's about 30 million tons of greater than 0.5% V2O5, which is an exceptional grade. There's higher grade core within it that's between 0.8 and 1%, so it's not just a bunch of low grade. There's a lot of high grade within it. So there's high grade starter pits. It's a shallow dipping near surface deposit, another great advantage, which allows us the opportunity of an open pit mining scenario with stripping ratios of about or less than 2.5 to 1. So another very significant advantage. Be low mining costs. The rock is soft. It's a black shale, so and it's quite broken as it is. So there's lower costs in mining in terms of the amount of explosives that would be needed. The mining is likely to be sort of rippers and scrapers. And then crushing and grinding, of course, would be reduced because it's a black shale and very soft rock. So those are big advantages for lowering your operating costs. The grades are very high. As I said, kind of ranges between 0.4 and 1%. There's a historic resource in this deposit, but we've actually done 2 drill campaigns that will that we just finished the last drill campaign last week. And so we're aiming to get a resource calculation by the end of November, and that'll move the project along significantly. I've mentioned before, high vanadium grades. The last 50 years has seen metallurgical advantages and developments, and so they weren't available to Union Carbide at the time, but now methods that are become conventional are at our disposal, and test work that we've done shows that we can get up to 65, or actually over 95% vanadium extraction from the rock into solution. So we're in the stages of the next 2 to 3 months finalizing our flow sheet, determining the best recoveries for the lowest CapEx and OpEx, and so those are things that we're working through so that we can advance our project to a pre-feasibility before the end of the year or early next year. In addition, the deposit, the main value in this material is the vanadium. This is high value rock, about $300 per ton rock. So it's very high value for an open pit situation. But there's also other metals in it. There's some zinc and some silver. We're in the process of evaluating whether those metals will add to the metal value, but potentially they could add $10 or $20 per ton rock, which would offset mining costs, for example. So those things are yet to be determined, but some advantages, some opportunities. So having this project in this great jurisdiction and with a great team, which I haven't yet talked about, just means the project is fast-tracked. So this is our timeline. The first half of the slide is what we've done, where we've picked up the project only very recently, so in November of last year. We've done 2 raises, we've done 2 drill programs, we've done metallurgical work that's showing very, very good promise, environmental baselines to advance our project for permitting purposes, and we're basically ready to launch into, well, next week we'll have the first drill results of this second drill campaign coming in news releases, and by the end of November, a new resource calculation. So this is in a year, going from rediscovery to an indicated resource is very fast-tracked, and 18 months from rediscovery to a pre-feasibility is an exception for our industry. This is a little bit about our share structure and performance. We have a very tight share structure of 35 million shares, a little less than 9 million warrants that can bring in that are all in the money, that can bring us another $3 million on top of our treasury of $2.5 million. Our market cap is about $66 million. We've actually, since this slide was created, we've been trading around $1.90, $1.80, $1.90 in the last couple of days. With lots of volume, typically 200 to 400,000 shares a day, so good liquidity. A little bit about valuation. There's not a lot out there in vanadium, but Largo is a model. $2 billion market cap. They're point to the contained metal amount of millions of pounds of vanadium. They have about 475 million pounds. Ours is about close to 300 million pounds. So at a market cap of 66. We've got a long way to go, but some real good possibilities. And just briefly, our team is run by professional engineers and geologists. So I'm a professional geologist. I've made gold deposit discoveries with major companies. All of these guys have worked with major companies, successes in their field. We've got 2 mining engineers that are operating, that have worked all the way up to general managers of mines with major companies around the world. We've got 2 senior metallurgists who've worked all the way to senior vice presidents of metallurgy for companies like Barrick and Alcoa. And we've got a construction engineer who's built about 20 mines in North and South America. He's actually building Lundin's gold mine down in Ecuador right now. So we've got a very, very exceptional technical skill set. It's not costing us a lot. These guys we've worked together before. They work with options, and as we need their expertise, we pay them. So it's a low cost to us, but an exceptional team for a small junior like ourselves at a low burn rate. And this gives us the ability and the skill set within our organization, as well as our share structure that we're very careful about to preserve it as we go, so that we can take this project to production, which a lot of companies say they can do it, but they don't have the skill set, they don't have the share structure that can actually make that happen. And we believe we can do that. So I would just like to just close to say thank you very much. You'd like to dig deeper, and I hope you can dig deeper into this project and team and company by visiting our website at www.firstvanadium.com. And I thank you for your attention.